Well, hello to all my Bay Harbor butchers, you New York rippers, and all my dark passengers out there. My name is EJ Marino, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, thank you for joining me. We are going to have a great time diving into this week's episode. Yes, we are talking about Dexter Resurrection, episode 8. We are going to be diving into the kill room where it happened. You know, I had to chuckle when I realized that the episode title was a reference to Hamilton, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And then they had Hamilton in this episode. I'm like, oh, that was good. That was clever. You know what? This whole episode was pretty clever. I think that's a really good word for it. I think Dexter Resurrection episode 8 is another good episode in this whole line of good episodes. Even though last week's episode was just a bit fine for me, I think my real issue was the lack of this cliffhanger ending as we've had for almost every episode. Last week, we had Angel putting the tracker in Dexter's car. We knew that Angel was going to be doing the tracking, the investigation, so that wasn't the oh my god moment, as opposed to the end of this episode where Leon just walks up to Dexter and Harrison and you're like, oh my god. So that was, I think, what I was missing, was that true jaw-dropping moment. And I think you know what, 7 and 8 would have been really good companion episodes to drop together, because they really do paint a complete picture, especially that we're seeing the gaslighting of Wallace for basically like thinking that Angel's the crazy one. I love what Dexter did last week to plant the seeds, and now this week that Angel like showed her a kill room with no kills, leaving more questions for her. I thought that was such a great twist to the Angel story. I don't think Dexter's going to be the one to kill Angel. I think we're going to get something pretty crazy there, which also still sets up more. I didn't realize this until about this episode and last week's episode. We are probably getting a second season of Resurrection. Now that Al has walked away from all of this, yes, our Al, our Rapunzel killer, is not going to be in the picture anymore. We'll see if he comes back in the later episodes as maybe one final shot. Ooh, a great post-credit scene is Dexter showing up to this man's house and getting the kill in, just as a teaser if we're not going to get that second season. But we're really shaping up this story to be a longer, like, arching story, and I did not expect that. With the re-inclusion of Quinn again, I'm like, ooh, Quinn's here. Is he gonna come back for season 2? Like, there is so much more that they could be doing with this story, and I'm super impressed with that. Again, I think Dexter Resurrection has been such a strong show, even at the episodes that are just kind of the building episodes. I think 7 and 8 are really building towards the big finale, so they may not be the most jaw-dropping. I still think they're efficient. I still think they need to do what they need to do, but specifically the ending of this episode had me shook. The episode begins, and honestly, where do I even begin with this episode? We have Angel going full film noir, like recording himself, like, you know, the criminal's doing this, eh? And I'm like, Angel, calm down. I made the Pepe Silva, you know, It's Always Sunny reference before, but my dude has a board trying to track the kills and all that.
Oh, shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper. There's no Pepe Silva, you gotta be kidding me! I got boxes full of Pepe!
To the point where he is going to end up getting himself in trouble. We'll talk about that a bit closer to the end of the episode. But this episode is all about Dexter trying to find that balance. Dexter is really in this weird spot where he's trying to, you know, make good with blessings on all that side. He's also trying to make good with his son, and he's still trying to do his killer stuff. It's so much work for Dexter right now, and we're seeing that Dexter, as much as it's nice to see him be a good person, you know, kind of opening up to Blessing's daughter, but that also led to Blessing getting mad at him at one point. We're seeing all of this, though, and I like these shades of colors to Dexter's character. He has been a pretty a one-note character, because again, that's kind of the serial killer of him. That's the monotonous nature of Dexter. But I think Resurrection has really painted him in different colors and given him a different, a bit of a layer and layers and layers and layers. Actually, I think that's what I'm most impressed with Resurrection, is how we're treating Dexter, because Dexter sets him up, you know, self up for the let's get Al. We're gonna go to this wig shop. We're going to look. I have to make do for what I had. I think that's really cute. I think that is interesting to see. But Dexter's also a bit sore, so this is that moment where he goes to Blessing's daughter. She does the acupuncture again, and he lets it known that he was a child soldier. Blessing's daughter is very upset by that, because why would your dad, you know, why would my dad tell you this, and I've known him forever, blah blah blah. That's interesting. And then we see that the ramifications of that, where Blessing is very angry at Dexter, and he's just like, why would you let that loose? Seeing that bit of side of Blessing is interesting. Do I believe some of the fan theories that he's going to be the New York Ripper? I don't think so, but I think there's more to Blessing's character. There's, obviously, we introduced him. Poor writing would leave him open as a thread for nothing to happen other than, is he just going to be Dexter's landlord? Is that really the point of Blessing? I don't think so, and I'm curious where we're going to go with his character. I do maintain the feeling that the Harrison stuff in some of the seasons when it's not directly involved with Dexter isn't maybe my favorite, because this is the episode where we see Harrison go, hey Dad, can you help me out with my friend, her landlord's still going crazy. This does lead to Dex, we'll talk about that, putting that man on the table and scaring the life into him and making him a better person. That's great. But then also Harrison goes and finds that girl that he met at the school. They connect. It's cute. I love it. That's awesome. They end up hooking up. This is going to be a good back and forth. Do I think this is going to end well for everyone involved? No, it's a television show. Like, can you imagine she gets injured or killed in the drama surrounding the Prater and Charley stuff, and now that kind of gets Harrison to end up maybe hating his father again or something? We could see something interesting really develop from this character, but for the most part, Harrison gets laid. I just had He's cool. He's having a good time. I like him building this thing. He has a great moment where he's just like, this is also just a good message to anyone getting into law enforcement. As much as I'm like not pro cops or anything at these kind of days, but I do think law enforcement is important. I love when Harrison's just like, you don't have to put on a suit and get a badge to be a good person and help lives, like what my dad did with blood splatter. So that's a really good moment there. And I think, again, Harrison is this like pure light. He's just so cute and like just sweet. And I love what we get with Harrison for the most part, even though, again, he's not the most like intriguing character I've ever seen. I think those moments where we see him be good and those moments with Dexter, like they go to Applebee's. Like, you know what I mean? That was just such a weird scene in the Applebee's product placement. But it was just such I did not think when you told me Dexter Resurrection was going to have a moment where Harrison and Dexter are just eating in an Applebee's, but I would be intrigued. I would be like involved in that conversation. But that's what the show has done very well, is make this whole universe feel so much more fulfilling, so much more worthwhile when you're watching it. We know the show is all about Dexter getting to kill someone, but does he kill anyone in this episode? No, he's left with killing Blu Balls twice. Yes, Dexter does not get to kill Al. He's the last on the list of the Leon Prater, Killer Club people. So he's just like, let me get him. Oh, Al's going to go to Hamilton. Let me wait for him outside of Hamilton. I got a kill room set up. We're going to do with the wigs because of the hair stuff. This will work. Well, Al realizes that Hamilton is rapping and does not like it, so he leaves halfway through the show, allowing himself to go away and making sure that Dexter does not get this kill. Dexter is pissed. We see him have to like swipe off the Al out of his list, and I'm like, is that the end of him? Is that like, what a moment. I don't want to say I'm disappointed yet, because I was a little upset that the Gemini Killers didn't get a longer story, and now with Al just kind of disappearing out of the picture, we know that Angel and Leon and Charley are kind of the main foes, and that these guys, the killers in this club, were just kind of bodies to go along the the kill count of this season. But I'm just like, Al gets away, the Gemini Killers are kind of done easy. Where are we gonna go with that? Will we see Al again? I hope Dexter does get to put him on the table, because Al is seriously a gross person. This leads Dexter to go, okay, I have a kill room. Okay, what do I need to do? Oh, Harrison tells me all about his friend and the landlord, and let me go get Vinny the landlord, because he's not a good person. Is it a little loose with the code? Yes, I do love when Harry's just like, baby, are you hangry? Like, why are we doing this? Like, what is this, your version of it? Because you are going feral.
Because you get a little angry when you're hungry. Better? Better.
And yes, Dexter is about to get Vinny on the table, kill him, but Angel interrupts it, because Angel's been tracking him, and I'm like, Angel, is this the moment where, like, I thought Angel was going to shoot Vinny, like, when he's, like, running out of there, and I'm like, ooh, that leads Angel to kill a man. That's going to drive him even crazier. But no, we do see Angel get to be labeled crazy in a moment. Yes, Vinny gets scared. Dexter basically scares him to being a better landlord. I hope we shall see. We did see Harrison say, hey, things are getting fixed. Thanks for scaring him, Dad. This leads Angel at, busting Dexter, but not really busting Dexter, to call Wallace and go, oh my God, I found the Bay Harbor Butcher's kill room. Wallace is already like, you're sketchy, you're suspicious. what is going on here. She does not believe him, so I do think we're going to get Wallace believing that Angel is really the Bay Harbor Butcher because she calls Quinn and he's quit. He's just looking sketchy. He's looking crazy. He's not helping himself at all. Angel, like, it sucks because, like, we know Angel's right, but I'm also not cheering for Angel to get this job done because he's going to be in the way of Dexter. So it's such a confusing narrative. It's not bad, but I love that. I'm like, oh, Angel's right, but also I want him to be wrong, but oh my goodness, he's setting himself to look crazy. It's such a fun, really twisted story, and it just adds such a great element to the season. Dexter is still shook by all of what's happened. He's kind of maybe messed up stuff with Blessing a little bit. He's had Vinny and Al not be able to get on his kill table. What is Dexter going to do? Well, he goes with Harrison, has a nice little lovely meal with him, and they're just talking. And then the gag of the episode happens when Leon just walks up. Red, I did not know you had a son. Oop, oop. Like, this was an instant moment where I'm like, give me episode 9. Like, I need to watch this ASAP, and I love when an episode gets to do that. It was one of my, again, I'm not going to address last week and the comments eating me up last week. I do think last week just didn't have that wow factor. It's mostly, again, in the ending, where this ending, it's that kind of where, like, you're reading a book and you turn that next page and you're like, I have to know what's next, but I said I was only going to read one more chapter. That's what this made me feel like. Again, in a binge, this would be crazy. You would instantly hit episode 9. So I think that's what I like about this episode more than a bit of last week, is because it has that ending where I'm like, oh my god, give me more. Because Leon, like, how is Dexter going to get out of the situation? Leon's going to be like, oh, I'm not going to mention that you're a killer in front of your son. And Leon's going to be, or Harrison's like, but I know you're a killer, but not the killer that Leon thinks you are. There is so much happening here. All of Dexter's lies, all of these little plot points are going to come, like, mashing into each other, and we are going to eat it up as Dexter fans. Well, everyone, that is it for my review of this week's Dexter Resurrection. I had a blast with this. I love this season. Again, I know I was a bit harder on last week's episode than people would have liked me to be, but I just wanted to have a wow factor each and every time, and this was the wow factor. This was the episode. Thank you guys all so much for tuning into this video. It was a blast to talk about this. I love Dexter Resurrection so much. It has been one of my favorite shows I've seen during a summer season. This is usually the slow season for TV fans, not with things like Dexter Resurrection. This makes it worthwhile. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. It means a lot. Even if I don't, like, agree with your comment and we are in disagreement, one, I make these videos for me because I want to talk about this, but I also make it for you all, and I want you guys to engage with me. So even if you disagree with me, I love the engagement. I love talking with you all. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for talking, subscribing, giving me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. All that stuff matters. And let's get into the nitty-gritty, and let's talk about Dexter Resurrection right down below.